I'll start this video by showing you the end result of a custom nebula style laser projector. And the point of this video is all about this little plastic disc here that creates this effect and how I made it. Watch your eyes, it's about to get bright. Behold the brightness. So this is the video where I made a 3D printed, well, I'm about to make a 3D printed mold, and discovered that silicone rubber, the platinum curing silicone rubber, does not play well with ultraviolet cured glue. This has been sitting for days, maybe a week, and it's all still liquid inside and it's never going to set, but that's okay. The video also has, in the description, for those who are very impatient, it's got a script for making custom molds, for custom masters actually, on a 3D printer for making the silicone molds that can be used to create the custom lensed discs. Okay, begin the project. Let's do an experiment. A while ago I got a mold from AliExpress and I cast some ultraviolet cured resin in. It actually warped as it was curing, but that's okay. And I thought it would be really interesting to try doing this from scratch by making my own silicone mold. So I've made a positive master with a 3D printer of the mold itself that the resin is going to be cast in. But to finish this, because this is printed with filament printer, I want to put a shim of resin in this, and then add little droplets like lenses and cure them immediately with a little ultraviolet flashlight. So let's start that experiment right now. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm using this ultraviolet curing glue. That's why I've got the gloves on. Well, let's get down closer to this so you can actually see what I'm doing. So what I want to do is I want to make this area here smooth. So I'm going to put a layer of resin over it and spread that around on that, just to create a base that is optically clear. So let's see how this goes. It might not go very well. You just never know. It is an experiment. I'm using what appears to be an ice cream spoon for this. This came with a stirring kit for resins and things like that. So I'm scraping that round. It is going quite well so far. That's creating the smooth surface. See the little raised bit in the middle? I'm keeping that raised because it's the bit that I want to be a flat top that can go onto a motor. So I'll be keeping the bubbles, the blobs, the lenses away from that. This is all looking good so far. That's usually the precursor to all going horribly wrong. Maybe I used too much, maybe I didn't. I don't want to get bubbles in it. That's looking okay. I think I could do with a wee bit more squeegeed over there. I don't want it to go down the sides because that's where the silicone has to go down. Right, this is looking okay. It's not laying quite as flat as I want it to. I'll keep combing it round until I screw it up completely, because you know what it's like with resin. You keep trying to touch it up and then suddenly it's all ruined. That's what happens. Right, I think this is good. See how we've got the nice smooth optical surface there-ish. It doesn't really matter, it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's turn this on and cure that. So I'm going to expose it to this bright little light. I can see vapors coming off. I probably shouldn't breathe those, they're probably incredibly toxic. They smell quite nice though. This is the ultraviolet curing resin that photosensitizes your skin, so it's worth knowing that. Right, okay, tell you what, I may also just do this as well, because I might as well, because that's me finished with the spoon at this point in time. So I'll just cure the resin on it so it doesn't go all over the place. Right, now what I want to do, what I really want to do, this is where it'd be nicer having a light from the side so you can see this, but I'm going to put blobs on this. And each time I put a blob, I'm going to start with the biggish ones. And then I'm going to immediately cure that. It's fuming. Now see what's happened there? I've now got a little bubble lens on that. That's looking good so far. So now I want to do more like that. Random lenses. I like the way they suddenly, you can see them optically change as it cures. And then I'll put another one here. That kind of merged into the other ones, but that's okay. It is experimental. And I'll just keep dropping these in. A little one there. Little blobby ones and big blobby ones. And fundamentally, I'm going to go around doing that. This could take a while. I'll pause while I do it. Okay, this looks promising. So there's my bubbly lens in there. And theoretically, once I take a silicone casting of this, then I can cast more liquid resin lenses in it. But there is an issue. The silicone casting material for making the mould might react with the resin. This is the only way to find that out, is to try it. So I'm going to make sure this is thoroughly cured before I do that and give it a good thorough clean and apply perhaps a mould release agent onto it. We'll see what happens. It is purely experimental. Back in a moment. Okay, the experiment continues. I'm far too impatient to wait. I've given this a good thorough curing, and I think it's ready for the silicone mould to be made. So this is a first for me. It's a 2-part silicone rubber for mould making. I ordered this from eBay, but it got drop shipped from Amazon, as sometimes happens. Sometimes you go on Amazon and they say that they don't ship to the Isle of Man, and then you end up buying it from eBay and it gets shipped from Amazon to the Isle of Man anyway. So I'm going to make, this is a graduated cylinder. I'm going to pour in 20 millilitres of this one. Probably too much, but you know, better looking at it than looking for it. And I'll put that little bung back in the top again, making sure I don't mix the bungs up. This is where, yeah, I should have got paper towel. Not to worry, silicone, it's all gooey. I'm going to grab paper towel. Just give me a second. I got paper towel. I didn't want to touch the screen of the phone until I'd done that. So that's not used much of this liquid. That's good. So now I want to get this and get the cap off it. I suppose I could leave the caps off these now. Don't know if they're needed during normal use. And then I'll put in top up to, hold on, what have I got up to here? Yeah, that is about right. 20 millilitres. Let's go up to the 40 millilitres then. It looks strangely higher than, hold on. Oh, it's the meniscus. Okay. I may make it just a little bit higher that to match then. So now we're adding the other component of this silicone. I watch the guys at work when we're at the prop companies, and watching them with all their silicones and resins, they're so comfortable with just mixing the correct ratios straight off the bat and how they're going to work because they use them all the time. Now, excellent, let's put the lid on that one and stir this, and it's very emphatic about saying stir it for approximately 5 minutes. Okay, so that's a bit too long to have you watching me stir resin, well, not resin, silicone for 5 minutes. So I shall pause. Now, I was going to use a mould release in this, but I've not got anything suitable. I thought maybe WD-40 would work, but they say don't use WD-40 because the petrochemical elements may affect the silicone. Anyway, I'm going to pause while I do this. Okay, I have mixed it for the desired time. There are bubbles in it. It says it's self-degassing. But, you know, this is where it'd be quite nice to get it into a little vacuum chamber and pull a vacuum. What's the bet this doesn't use much of my stuff? Now, before I put this in, I've got a little indent in here, that I want to put a blob of silicone into it. It is silicone, yes, to make sure that definitely gets no little air bubble in it. And then I'm just going to pour it from one side. Oh, it's full of air bubbles. That's fine. Goes quiet as I concentrate. It's very runny. This is good. That will help with the degassing. I'm just going to put it back down and flow this in. This is when I find out my bench isn't as level as I want it to be. I do sometimes use unreasonable force on things, and it probably is angled downwards as a result of that. This is all looking good so far. I say this, it might be an absolute disaster. You never know. The quantity I used is pretty good so far. Preemptively, I can see all the bubbles bursting. Preemptively, I'm going to say that I'm going to put the script for this 3D printing script for OpenSCAD into the description of this video, just in case, this works. In case it works. What have I got here? I can go a bit more. Watch it suddenly overflow. That's also what happens with prop making companies. Occasionally one of their moulds, the dams that they put around it, lets rip and all the stuff starts pouring out. And it is quite expensive material. I mean, this wasn't too bad. How much was this stuff? Let me just go and check the price of that. That was £11.65 shipped within the UK. I do see slight bubble effects under there, but I think it's where bubbles have been caught under the resin, but it doesn't really matter because all we're really looking for is the surface. Okay, well now this is going to take a while to cure. I've just got silicone on my bench. I have to work out what I'm going to do with the rest of this. So I poured that full, and I had about 45 millilitres. Oh, I could have done that with almost half of what I used. But anyway, the next step will be when we demold this back in a slightly longer moment than normal. Update? Tricky. There might be a reaction with the resin that's going to inhibit the curing because I can see that it's still a bit fluid underneath, and also I'm getting bubbles forming underneath, so there's something outgassing, possibly an interaction with that resin. The only way to find out is to leave this for a very, very long time and hope that it does finally cure and not lots of bubbles. But it is a learning experience. We can try a different approach the next time. Project update, and as you saw from the beginning of the video, it is a success. I have the desired disc, but it has been trial and error. This, even many days later, is still completely liquid inside, so the ultraviolet glue does not play well with the silicone. The silicone, platinum cured silicone, is apparently very temperamental. I tried it with ordinary resin to just create a smooth layer, and even then, after days of curing, it still left a sticky residue, so that's not great. However, what is great is the fact that you can pour the silicone directly into a 3D printed PLA mould, or whatever you've got. I don't think there's any that are incompatible with it. And you will end up being able to pull out a proper silicone mould that you can then use to cast the disc. The downside is that you have this rough texture. It doesn't have the lenses on it yet. The upside is, as you shall see shortly, when we take this disc out, and I am demolding this the first time, when we take this disc out, although it's got that rough texture, and I'll demonstrate just how rough it is. See, I put it above text and it's pretty much made it look all matte, right? But watch this. Let me get the gloves on and show you how we can resolve that. So you get your disc and you put your drips of resin onto it to create the lenses. And this time, every single one, I should have actually tipped that up beforehand. Hold on, I'm just shaking the resin down to the end here. But every time you put your drip of resin on to create the lens, and then cure it with the ultraviolet light, it makes it go transparent. Can you see the fumes coming off that? I shall blow them away. Ooh. And now, it does mean that for each lens you're going to have to create a dedicated optical assembly, but you can see the effect it has now, that it has made that absolutely optically clear. And the approach I took to this, it's maybe good that you have to do it every time, because I can get these gloves off now, because it means that every disc is unique. It takes a little bit more time. Now, when you're making the discs, and this is based on a big one, I do recommend that you start with the black ones, big coarse droplets like I did with that, and then after you've put them in, it's entirely up to you what you want to do. You could put little snaky zigzags if you want, but also you can then put medium-sized drops to fill in between them, and finally the green, you can put the wee tiny drops you want, noting that if it merges up to the other lenses, if it touches them, it will merge up into them. It doesn't matter. It's just another style of lens. It's another optical aspect. Now, there is a script down below in the description, and it will let you notice that this is just printed. It's still got some stringing on it that has to be removed and cleaned up, but note that down in the description there is an OpenSCAD script. It's a very short one. Copy and paste it into the free software OpenSCAD, and it will let you change two variables. It will let you choose the outside diameter of your disc. This one is about 50 millimeters, but this one is about 75 millimeters or 3 inches. It also lets you choose the hub in the middle. The hub in here has a little indent in it. It's designed to allow you to drill a central hole for mounting on a motor shaft. In this case, I just use a double-sided pad onto a suitable wheel. But it lets you choose the motor mounting hub if desired, the width of it, and then it will automatically put that little indent in, and it will scale everything up. It will give you your little trough around the edge for creating the dam at the side of your silicone mould. Now, when you actually make this and you pour the glue into it, I do recommend doing a thin layer and making sure it goes right into the middle first. Let it wick in a bit and then cure it with ultraviolet light. It's better doing it as a couple of layers than trying to just fill it right up to the brim and cure it, because that may result in the resin at the very back not curing, because it seems to block the ultraviolet light going through. Another option you have, as a precaution, if you turn this quirky light on, you can cure it from the back as well if you want, for that slightly deeper bit where it creates the trough. But once you've given OpenSCAD the measurements you want, you can click the little hourglass symbol. I'll put notes about that in the description, and then press STL and it will save it as the STL 3D file, and then you can put it in whatever slice you want and you can make your custom mould. Right, okay, as demonstrated at the beginning of the video, well, I'll demonstrate other things. Let me change the lighting a little bit. So here's the effect with just a single LED. If you have multiple LEDs around it, it will create that effect but overlapping, and with different colours you get that sort of classic nebula effect projected onto walls and ceilings. Quite nice. Now with the laser, it gives you the classic warping aurora effect. There is a name for this, can't remember what it is, but the laser industry has a name for this, where you point a laser through a distortion disc. Traditionally, Optokinetics called these distortion discs and their projectors. They were made of glass. And you could cascade them for water ripple effects, but in this case, I really like the effect when you put the laser through it, and it ultimately, I'm pointing the laser right into the hub here. As the lenses pass by, it morphs and warps in the most interesting and intriguing ways, with strange patterns, interference patterns. It's good. Okay, watch your eyes. It's about to get bright again. And that is it. So as I say, the script is down in the description down below. You can just copy and paste it. OpenSCAD is free to use, very good piece of software. And I have set it up so you've got two easily adjustable parameters in that, just to the diameter of the disc and the diameter of the hub in the middle. But that is it, and now I will dispose of this, because this is never going to set. That's just full of squishy resin in the middle, silicone. Weird, but that's it. Oh, incidentally, someone suggested sticking it on the clock movement. I've done this before but found it slightly jumpy, but you know what, it's actually working okay in this instance. I did hack it a little bit just to get a more exposed shaft. I could 3D print a little adapter for that as well. But there we have it, a great result.